Hello everyone. We know very well that the knowledge makes you star or stalwart in this world. But when that knowledge is added with your good behavior and attitude, that makes you a legend. And legend is a person who helps the society to grow, help the young engineer to learn, and they contribute in their way for the nation they are living in. In my series of SIP, the story of impressive person, today we are honored to have respected NK
Okay.
Mittal sir, who is with us, and we are going to start a dialogue with Rajesh Arora. And welcome, sir. Welcome to that channel of
Thank you.
SIP.
Thank you very much, Rajeshi. It is not, it is my privilege. It is my privilege that you invited me for a talk. So I am very, very thankful and feel privileged.
Thank you once again for accepting my invitation. And I am going to start my very first question. Sir, I have seen you have experience of more than 40 years. You have done consultancy for Indian as well as abroad firms, many firms outside India also.
Yes.
Please start with your schooling to your entry into electrical field. We
Okay.
would like to
I'll just,
know that thing first.
okay. Me and my father, our family was staying in Delhi, and my father was working in Government of India as
Okay.
a in the Department of Ministry of Industry. So they had there was a flat which was given to us by Government of India. So we were staying there, and I did my schooling from Sarojini Nagar, which is a government school. That time in early 70s or late 60s, these were the only only schools available. By and large, on the private sector, there were only two schools. One was DPS and one was modern school. There were no other schools at that time. Late 60s, I'm talking of. So most of us have done our schooling from government school. And 71, I passed out from government school. And I got distinction in 3 subjects in school level. That time it used to be higher secondary, not 10+2. We
Okay.
didn't have 10+2 in our time. So, but after that, engineering was 5-year course. So 11 plus 5, 16. This is how it was operating at that in early 70s.
Where did you
So
pass for?
70, yeah, I'm just coming. 71, I took admission in BITS Pilani
Okay.
in electrical discipline, and it was a 5-year course, and I graduated in 1976. So when I came out, I was looking for a job in the private sector. Somehow, this was our this was our mind. Since my father was working for Government of India, somehow I had a inkling that we will work only in the private sector. In case we get a good job in some good private sector in good company, then we'll join that company and continue to work for that company. This was my idea. Although wrong or right, but that is how when you come out, these are the ideas which are ingrained because of your society, friends, the people you talk to. This is how the ideas are framed. So my idea was, if in case I can get a very good company, maybe I'll make my career in that company and continue to serve in that company. But unfortunately, there was no proper big company which was ready to take us. Like we applied in some of the top companies, and anyway, I got my first employment with Usha Rectifier, which is Faridabad. It is at the border of Delhi, and they were starting a new division. And I was told that you are a graduate engineer, but you will directly work as a assistant. There were only 3 people in the department: chief executive, GM, and me. So CEO was busy in other activities. GM, he was to set up a new plant which was known as capacity division. It was to start. So, and I was supposed to assist the GM, write designing, installation, setting up of capacitor plant, but something went wrong. I mean, something happened in the management, and they dropped this idea of this new plant. So they shifted me to another division, which is known as equipment division, where we used to make selenium rectifier, silicon rectifier, rectifier panel, battery chargers. It was a manufacturing division. I was shifted there. I worked for some time, and then I shifted to one consultancy company, Celcon in Nehru Place.
Okay.
And this company was basically doing consultancy in cellulose products, primarily paper industry. Any cellulose product, they would do the consultancy. So first, I was given the job of designing a paper mill at Mukeria paper mill at Mukeria, which is in Punjab near Pathankot. And I was posted also at the site on behalf of my company. So I got a very rich experience of first-hand installation of paper mill right from the substation to the last point. Whatever goes into the paper, the large MG dryer, pulp motors, large pulp motors, what happens when there is a jerk, how the tripping used to happen, how speed control of the paper machine has to be monitored. So I got first-hand experience of that in that project. Then it so happened, I mean, the talk of the marriage was going on, and being the family, I come from very conservative family, so there was a lot of pressure on me. I was the youngest in the family. All my elder brother and sister were married, and my father every day in the evening, he would sit with me and give me tutorial that this is the right time, and now
Get
you
married.
should get married. So
Okay.
every day in the evening, that was my favorite lecture. So okay, it got arranged and everything. So it so happened that immediately I got a opportunity to go to Nigeria. Immediately after that.
Okay.
So I went to Nigeria. I worked in their public sector companies. In their public sector, they used to deal with water and electricity. Initially, I was posted in the water division. Then I was shifted to the electricity division. In electricity division, it is exactly the same work what BSES and Tata Power is doing in Delhi. I was doing the same work, excepting the commercial part.
Okay.
Commercial part, I was not involved because you see, I didn't know the local language. I was the AGM, Assistant General Manager of the entire state. But deliberately I did not take up the role of commercial because local language and communication with the local people becomes tough for me.
You were
So I
totally
said,
involved with the engineering part only.
yes, on the engineering side. So we used to pick up town. Uh, in my 10 years of stay, we picked up 21 towns and we electrified 21 towns. And since power was not available from the center, only 5 or 6 places the power was available. So we had drawn lines of 33 kV from the nearby place, going maybe 20 kilometer, 25 kilometer, 30 kilometer, and connected it to the grid. The balance, what we did was for 21 or 22 towns, we had installed our own DGs. Diesel was very cheap available there. It was a
For how
petroleum
many years
producing
were you
nation.
there?
10 years, 10 years, 10 years.
10 years. You spent 10 years in
Yes,
Nigeria.
correct.
Then how did you
Absolutely correct.
manage your family?
No, my family was with me there only.
Okay.
It was a family accommodation.
Family accommodation.
It
Okay.
was a full family accommodation. There was my children they started studying from there itself.
Okay.
My son was born there in Nigeria. My daughter was born in India, but son was born
Okay.
in Nigeria.
Wow.
So I came back in 1989 after having a very rich experience. The main advantage what I got was because skilled manpower was not available. So we were supposed to work as a skilled manpower, as an engineer, as a senior manager, as a AGM. So we were supposed to teach them. They were willing to work. They would come with the spanner sets. There was no time when my car had a standard large toolbox always available in my car. Always, if I am going to the site, a large that standard.
But that
Very
part is
big.
missing in India. Once you get promotion in India, you forget to work with your own hand.
Correct. Correct. This is the difference. I
Yeah.
think I will talk about it. The basic difference between here and there. There, this difference was because the Middle segment was totally missing. So I used to only tell that guy, okay, bring that spanner number 13. So
So
let
you
us
had to
open this
manage
alternator.
everything.
Yes. So this
Okay.
was the basic difference. And it so happened that all our generators were different makes. Like we had a lot of Blackstone make generators. We had Whirlpool, we had Hawker Siddeley, we
Wow.
had Pedro, we had Caterpillar. So I had the opportunity to open almost all these sets by hand. I have opened each and every set by hand and have reassembled at the site itself. Alternator, bearing, the
Great.
fan,
Great.
the diodes inside, selenium rectifier, which is in between those diodes. Then, for the synchronizing, there used to be small, small resistance at the AVR. They would regularly burn. So what we did was, when I came to India, I went to Bhagirath Palace and collected a bunch of those small resistance costing maybe one rupee, 2 rupee, 3 rupees. And whenever any resistance used to burn, I just used to give them the resistance that go and change it. Then they used to
Wow.
change it. And that is how we were able to run these 21 stations trouble free. Not trouble free, there were some issues and problems, but by and large, we were able to
And when did you
control and
decide first time you have to start your own consultancy in India?
yeah,
When
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
idea came to your mind?
Yes, 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 yes. I'll tell you that it's a very interesting story.
Okay.
89, I came back. 89, I came back. And I came back with the idea that we will go for a small manufacturing unit somewhere. Small scale. I was looking for a product. Somehow that product, right cost, area, spacing, somehow it didn't click. Then I went to Bhiwadi. I looked for a plot. We identified one or two plots also, small plots, 1,000 square meter, very small plots. And we identified the plot, but the product was not with me. I didn't know that this product, how it would be manufactured, what is the cost involved in manufacturing it, and how I'm going to market it. So I continued. This happened for almost 1 year. By the time I came back, I put my children into schools. That took about 3-4 months. Then renovation of the whole house. It took me about 6 months. So then I started all this. Somehow it was not working out. This small manufacturing was not working out. And one day in front of my house, I was walking. I was just walking in the evening time. There was another gentleman, Mr. Sarkar. He was also walking in the same line. I was staying in Vasant Kunj. That time in the Vasant Kunj, not more than 50 people were there in my pocket. Maximum 40-50 people. So everybody knew each other by name.
Okay.
So he just greeted me. He said, sir, what are you doing? I said, sorry, sir, I'm not doing anything at this point of time. Then I told him, what are you doing? He says, I'm working in this company. So and so. It's a very large consultancy company, basically making bridges, into road construction, into buildings, into other things. So he says, we are in a problem. I said, what is the problem? He says, we are quoting for a job in Mauritius, but we do not have anybody who can make an estimate and design for us and then the estimate. Because
Okay.
they have to quote as a turnkey partner. There was a turnkey partner with them and they had to quote for the job. I said, I can take up the design part for you, but I cannot give you the price because I do not know the price in India for any of this stuff. So he said, okay. I went to their office, sat in their office for a few days. We finished the design of the complete that project they were bidding for in Mauritius. Then the question of cost came. Uh, I was totally lost how to get the price. What I did was I went to Bhagirath Palace. I went shop by shop,
Wow.
collected the price list of each and every product from each and every shop. And then I came back to the house. We started making list. Okay, product is this. Many information we got, many information we did not get. So how I got the information, I'll just tell you. I was driving around Siri Fort Road that day. I had a blue Maruti 800 at that point of time, 1990 to be precise. There was another car, green color Maruti, which was coming from the opposite direction. There was no divider. And I saw that gentleman I said, I just said hi. He also said hi. I said, you are so and so. He says, yes, he was my college fellow. He was my college colleague. So we stopped each other on one side. I said, where are you working? He says, I'm working with Siemens. I said, great. I said, I need some help. He says, what help? I said, I need the prices. He says, no problem. He'll come to me either that day or next day. He says he'll come and give me all the prices. Not only that, there used to be a red color book in Siemens, red color book, which had all the datas. I don't know whether you can recollect red color book. So he gave me that book and gave me the prices of most of the products. Some I could manage from Bhagirath Palace. And that is how I gave the price to my people who contacted me for this job. So fortunately or unfortunately, they were not successful in getting the job. It was a big job in Mauritius, but somehow.
Basically, you enter into the consultancy by accident.
Yes, that is exactly what I want to say. That is exactly what I want to say. If I had not met the gentleman walking in my street and he had not offered me, I don't know,
We
maybe.
have heard about the accidental prime minister. Now
Correct.
we are with one consultant who became consultant by accident.
By accident, absolutely. Then what happened was, then we were two friends. We were both working in Nigeria. Both of us came back together. So we met in the evening. Then he was working in one of the steel mill as a general manager, steel plant. Very brilliant fellow, brilliant, super brilliant. Uh, so he says, yeah, in this market, we are not seeing any industrial consultants. We are seeing a lot of people making group housing, societies, commercials, but there are no people available in the market doing consultancy in industrial system. He says, why don't we start? I said, yes, it's a good idea. Let us start. That's how 5-minute talk converted into all this. And we
Oh.
started this. He and me, we
Out
started
of
it
your
together.
40 years experience as a consultant, what was the most challenging job and how did you overcome that challenges?
Okay. Very interesting question. It's great. Uh, First of all, challenges are different. Every day there is a challenge. Even today there is a challenge in every job. That is what I want to say. First time I worked in a textile plant, I got a textile plant. Before that, I'll come to one more point. When both of us started working together, so he was super brilliant fellow. He used to sit down in the office and used to do all the work. I used to go office to office. I had made some small 3 pages introduction letter, and I started from Nehru Place, and I started from Nehru Place, building number 71, which is on the backside. So at the bottom, we used to see the addresses. I used to just find out these are the project people, these are not the project people. You can make out. There used to be a letterbox at the ground floor level. So from there, I used to make out and used to drop my letter.
Yeah, I
So
have
when
been
I
to
went to,
Nehru Place many times and Bhagirath Place when I was doing the
yes,
same thing that you have already done.
yeah, building number 71, 72, 73, 74. When I went to building number 72, I saw one office. I went there. And the gentleman said, okay, why don't you come inside? I was waiting at the reception for about 10 minutes and he called me in. He says, are you from the electrical line? What is your background? I said, this is my background. He says, we have a battery industry in Secunderabad, which is after Ghaziabad. So we have these problems. So something is burning all the time. There are issues in running the plant. Can you take up that and solve those problems? I said, yes, we will take it up. I had no other work. So I went to that plant for 2 to 3 days. I used to leave as early as 7 o'clock in the morning. I used to reach around 8:30, 8:40 and at Secunderabad. I used to come back around 7:30 in the evening. That time there was no traffic on the road. I used to reach in 1 hour, 10 minutes, 1 hour, 20 minutes. My Maruti, blue color Maruti, which I had 4303 number. So
Great
I
memory
was
you have.
I
So
was
you are very
driving that.
precise about the even the car you had number, everything.
Yeah. Yes. So we spent 3 days learning what are the problems, why these problems are happening. Then me and my friend, we sat down in the office. We took about 1 week. We made event by event analyzed, and we prepared one very good report that these are the issues and these are the problems, these are the overcoming, these are the gaps to be covered. We went and met the same gentleman, vice president of the company in Nehru Place. He says he is very pleased and he wants us to do the supervision of the job. I said, we'll do it. So we started doing that. This is how we got the breakthrough. This is
Wow.
the breakthrough we got. And from that, through references, it got multiplied
Okay.
from one to
And
another and another.
moving further, out of many projects, consultancy that involves designing, planning, evaluation,
Yeah,
erection, and
yeah,
commissioning.
I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that
What
now.
job gives you immense pleasure and happiness from?
Yes, yes. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that. I'm just coming to that. First of all, you know, somehow right from the beginning, I was very much interested in solving the problem, industrial problem, solving the industrial problem. You cannot solve any industrial problem unless you analyze it well. To analyze it well, you
Very
have to
true.
study in depth. You have to study in depth. And I'll give a very small example. This is again, I'm talking of early 90s. We used to have a capsule making plant. There was a problem. The orders of the all the manufacturing which used to happen in the night, they were rejected by their clients. In the daytime, whatever they produced, it was okay. So they said, yeah, we don't know. I mean, it is the same plant, same machine, but there's a lot of rejection which is coming in the plant. I said, okay, let's analyze. So we analyzed once, we couldn't get head and tail out of it. We went second time, we got something. Third time when we went there, we said, okay, let us. There used to be a certain rotating machine which used to finish the curing in 30 minutes. And in the night, because of the higher frequency, higher speed, that round was getting completed in 26 minutes against 30 minutes. So the capsule never used to dry perfectly, cured. Curing was not. And then next day it would be packed and sent to their customer and it will come back. So, I mean, we were so much intrigued and so happy that whenever a problem comes, we are able to resolve it. Then this was my like a hobby, little bit of passion. And whenever I get a challenge, I get a problem, maybe I have spoken to you few times also, and I speak to a number of people like that who are in the same field, and I share our issues with them. I share my experience with them. Recently, I just got a phone call. Sir, our multifunction meter is showing negative power factor. I said, there is nothing like negative. What you do is connect the same phase to the same voltage. In the multifunction meter, your problem will solve. The problem got resolved in no time. He went
Wow.
there, he ensured that the same phase and the voltage is going to the right terminal.
Hmm.
The problem got resolved. So
Coming to very
this is how,
important question, you have
yeah,
done very overseas project, Indian projects. What is the major
correct.
difference between the attitude
I'm
of
coming to that.
two persons,
It
two
is
engineers?
it's a major difference. There is huge difference. I'll tell you, I did one project in Afghanistan for United US, I think it was Air Force I think. And there was a consultant from Brazil, one consultant from Philippines, and we were working on behalf of the contractor who was executing the job. So whatever document we will make, it will be ratified by the respective consultant, either at the Philippines or at Brazil. And once they will say, okay, then only we can go ahead to the next step. So what we learned in that project, when we were making, it was a like a headquarter building comprising of ground plus 4 or basement plus 4. I don't remember exactly, but basement plus 4 or ground plus 4 with a basement. So when they make a load list in US, everything is defined. Lighting load is defined. Other loads are defined. There is nothing like diversity factor. When we design a system, when we plan a system, we don't plan it on the basis of diversity factor. In India, we are more practical. What we do is we work out the total connected load. Then we say, as per our experience, this is the overall diversity
There are
expected.
so many assumptions running in parallel to our
Yes,
design.
correct. So as per the diversity, this is the net load that we have to take from the state. And this is how we will design the substation. This is how we will design the downward side. There are a lot of interesting things which I'll convey. But there it is not like this. There it is totally different. Everything is on the basis of connected load. Even the MCCB size and a cable size is defined. Cable
Okay.
size, you have to work out as per that load, because they say that this load it can carry. It should be able to carry. And more important than that, whenever there is a fault, cable should never burn. It should be the protective switchgear on top of the cable that should trip. So that protection is designed 10 or 20% higher than the cable sizing.
But that part is missing in India because the selection
That
of
part
cable
is,
is a very problematic thing.
yeah, that this was the first difference what I noticed. Second major difference what we noticed is earthing system is totally different. This project I did it in Afghanistan around 2008 or 2009. Now, but in India after 2017, we are heading in the same direction. What I did in 2008 or 2009 there, mostly we are adopting the same standard.
So you
So
usually say one location, one earthing. Are they following the same thing?
yes,
Okay.
absolutely same.
Okay.
Absolutely same. There was no earth or nothing of that sort, like two earthing for this, two earthing. There was nothing of that sort. It was just structure earthing. Then there used to be a grid at the bottom of the building, and that is connected to the entire system. Not only that, the basic difference was where, like this structure, they had connected steel, and from that steel they had taken to the respective protective earth to that equipment. That is point number one. Even these sizes were defined in their code. They
Okay.
had a code NEC, which I read at that in 2007, 2008. Even these sub sub sizes, main sizes, they were all defined in the code. Then then again there were two criterias. One was either you follow the fault level or you follow the highest conductor size. If you
Okay.
follow the first, this is the size of the earthing wire. If you follow the main incoming wire, then they had given a suggestion. This is how you are supposed to select
There
50%,
was no
80%.
misinterpretation of any regulation that happens in
Yeah.
India.
So
Like,
it was so clear. It was so clear. Absolutely, it was clear. Anybody can who has read that document very well, he can design that system comfortably. But you have to read it properly.
okay.
That itself is about 400, 500 page document. It is not just 10 pages or 20
I
pages.
have seen it.
So
I have.
this was the first difference. Second difference, when I was working in Indonesia, uh, ours was a sugar plant which was next to the seashore, maybe 50 meters or 100 meters from the seashore, almost at the seashore. What used to happen was we used to start, like we were commissioning that plant of sugar mill. We used to start a drive. We used to stop it. Next day when we used to come, we used to start. It never used to start.
That
Who
was the
can change the
problem.
drive so often? Who can change the drive every day like this? So there were two things that we identified. The first was the moisture was very high in that area. We had made an electrical room which was not air conditioned. So in that electrical room, all those drive panels were there, and cable was going from that main control room to individual motors and other places. So what we did was we took aerosol. I took aerosol from India. I made 5 or 6 trips to Indonesia. So I took aerosol from India. The moment we will install the cards, the drive cards. First we would put aerosol, and then only we will install it. So a lot of failure came down. The
Ingress of
first
protection,
failure
ingress of moisture was the cause basically.
in that was one reason. That was one reason. Second reason was, you know, earthing was a major issue there.
Okay.
They were heavy welding that was happening all around the building. All around the building there was welding, and these things used to fail. So what we did at that point of time, whenever welding will happen, we made dedicated system for them, and
Okay.
they would take the second reference point only from those, not from anywhere in the system.
Okay.
So this was the second thing which we did it there. After that, the issue was largely resolved. Largely,
Okay.
I would say 90-95% resolved. So that
Coming,
was
coming
the
to
change.
next question, and now it is related to our industry. You are working with the food industry, beverage, data center,
Correct.
engineering sector. What are the
Correct.
common issues with all these industries, if you say in
Yes.
few words?
Yes. The common issue in most of the industry is power electronics. Voltages are not stable. Even if there is a OLTC at the receiving end of the power at the main gate, but down the line, OLTC takes a long time to react. Maybe it is about 40 to 60 seconds before one step is changed. In this 40 to 60 seconds, I have seen a lot of surges that goes into the system. And because of the unstable voltage, there are very, very peculiar drives they trip. They one this MDF plant which we did for India's one of the top groups. So this was a regular problem that we used to face. Moment there used to be a small little jerk, all the drives will trip. And drive. We requested the drive person to increase the voltage band range so that it
That should be
doesn't
done.
fail. It doesn't fail so frequently. They said no. It comes from the factory. We are not authorized, and we will not change. So what do we do? So what we did was we went to the board. We had a dedicated 33 kV feeder. We requested those people to
Okay.
increase the time settings, to increase the time settings a little bit. So at least trippings reduced a little bit. So because of the moment there'll be a single tripping of 1 minute, the restoration time was minimum 45 minutes.
It
Energy center
happens.
used
Usually
to
it
have
happens because you have to take shutdown. You have to take clearances from
yes,
many
yes.
departments.
So all these issues we resolved. Then large compressors, whenever we will start a large compressor of 500, 600, 700, 900 kilowatt, we used to face a lot of problem because they are all at 11 kV. 11 kV jerk will be so much, it will bypass, either you bypass those trippings of at 11 kV breaker. If you do not bypass, they will trip. If you bypass, then what is the way to restore after starting of the compressor? So these are the challenges that we have faced all along. Now your question is, what is common in this industry? The common is electricity. Yes, electricity is common, but behavior of that electricity pertaining to that plant is quite different, quite different. For example, there is an electronic plant. The earthing and the electrostatic charge at different places are so critical. You have to ensure that the people sitting and working on the platform or on the table and on the component, the two are at the same potential.
True.
This is not
Very,
there in
very
textile
mandatory
industry.
thing.
This is not there in the textile. This is not there in the steel plant. This is not there in the food plant. So every industry has a lot of peculiar things, has a lot of challenges on its own. Textile has its own challenge because there cannot be any cabling, wiring from the top. Everything has to be in the trench. Those trenches have to be maintained. And generally the water seeps in the trenches from somewhere, either from the bottom or the thrust or from neighboring this thing. So those water has to be evacuated. Then earthing is a big challenge. And the biggest challenge which has come in the last 20 years is most of the electromechanical machines, they have become electronic machines, power
Okay.
electronic machines. So this is the major change which has occurred in the last 20 to 25 years. The motors which were working very nicely in a regular electromechanical plant, right now they are not working that nicely
Because
because
of
the
harmonic
behavior has changed
effects.
because of the harmonic effect. Not only that harmonic, we did one largest textile plant of India, which had 6 lakh spindle, huge, huge. So our voltage harmonic was 9%.
Wow.
And the contact capacitor contactors were, they used to catch fire. All of a sudden it will catch fire. Everything is 1000 kVR capacitor bank, contactor based. All of a sudden there would be fire in that. So
Now, how
we
did
were
you
trying to
manage?
establish. I'll tell you, it's a very interesting. It's a very interesting. You see what we had used 100 kVR bank, 50 kVR bank, 25 kVR bank, making a total of 1000 kVR. We established, first we measured the voltage across the reactor. voltage was found to be normal. The voltage percent increase was 28 volts across the reactor, which was found to be okay. Then we measured the characteristic of the capacitor and the reactor, which were also found in order. We had no clue why these contactors are burning. So what we did was, we requested the management to install the active harmonic filter at strategic places to reduce the harmonics so that these burning will stop. So somehow, management was in a little tighter position at that point of time. So they said, we cannot do the investment. We have already invested a lot of money. So what we did was, all the 100 kVR banks, which the contactors used to catch fire, we made them fixed, because in a textile plant, there is no variation in load. Either the plant is off or on. When the plant is on, suppose it requires 1000 kVR, 1000 kVR will become on. There is no switching.
Okay.
So what we did was, out of let us say 20 banks or 18 banks, we made at least 10 to 12 as a direct. Direct means they'll remain on. And we had a 220 kV incomer supply, so there was no tripping at all in 220 kV supply. And the balance 5 to 6, we made it variable as per the load. So this solved our problem of burning of contactors by a simple measure. We have not invested in new money. We have not changed the technology. We have not installed the active harmonic filter. By doing only by some recombination, we were able to resolve that problem. And not only that, we that time I was in touch with almost all the capacitor companies. And one of the capacitor companies, while doing a very depth analysis and discussion, they told us, anytime you have more than 6 banks connected in any capacitor system, your contactor size should increase by about 30, 40, 50% minimum than whatever you are selecting. If the number of banks are more than 6. So I asked him, I said, why do you say that? He says, the moment when these capacitors become more, after 5th or 6th bank, the discharge current which goes into the capacitor is very, very high. Is very high in the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. That is why you are facing these problems. Number one. Number two, what they told us, which was a revelation to me, that by installing the contactor duty capacitors, you're not really helping a system much. I used to install capacitor duty contactor everywhere with a detune filter and the capacitor. So what they told me is that the normal capacitor takes about 30 to 40 times the inrush current. Capacitor duty contactor takes only 10 times. The normal contactor can take 30 to 40 times. Only you have to upgrade or oversize the contactor. So a normal oversized contactor will behave much better than a contactor duty capacitor.
Okay.
Contactor. So this was a revelation to us.
Wow.
So we
coming to
modified
next important interesting part, you are as passionate about safety as I am, I know. And what do you think? Do you think the regulations are being adopted in the industries that should be adopted, or there's some flaw? What is your view on that?
No, my view is I can definitely share my part of it. Wherever I am doing a particular project where we are designing it, we are designing almost 70 to 80% of whatever is recommended in the standard, we are incorporating it. In some projects, even 100%. Recently, okay, I'll come to that later. First, I'll reply to your question that whether in the industry is accepting it. Industry is fully accepting it. It is we or engineers like me, either with the client or with the consultant or in any field, they are not putting up their version properly with a code, with the standard, with the safety standard, and with the betterment. So management will always come up with the answer that last project we have invested 100 rupees and everything is working fine.
Very encouraging answer from your side.
Yes. Why do you want to spend 120 rupees now We said that time there was no standard. You see, if in case we have to only run a plant and supply the power, yes, we can still do it in 100 plus inflation, whatever is the inflation from that time to now. But when you have to make a system safe, as per the codes, as per the standard, these standards are made by the most reputed people of the country. It is not me alone or you alone. A group of people sit together and they apply their mind, and that is how they adopt a certain standard.
Then
So it means definitely
how
the
do you
standard
how
has
do
to
you
be updated.
motivate and encourage the top management in the industry to follow that regulation? And do you face some
Yes,
issues sometimes
yes,
while
yes. I face
giving
a lot of issues.
encouragement to that top
I
management?
face a
Yes,
lot of
go for
issues.
the safety.
I face a lot of issues. Uh, I'll tell you one case. When you enter Noida, the first two multi-storied buildings when you enter Noida on the left side, when we were doing that, I was trying to implement the new code in 2018, step by step. Each and everything I was trying to implement. But what happened was when I spoke to the management, they fully agreed with me and they said, whatever you suggest, we will do it. But where is the challenge? The challenge is when my drawing goes for approval to the electrical inspector, he is not interested in all this. He says, you do whatever you like. But as far as he is concerned, in my drawing, I have to show we had 4 transformers and 4 or 5 DGs. So you show me the way different thing. And he will come and take the reading. If the reading is okay, you will get the approval. So what we did was,
The common issues with everyone.
we installed the entire system of a grid in the basement. I installed the entire grid and interconnected this to my vertical risers right up to the 19th floor. In addition to that, below that ramp, there was a ramp for taking the cars. So below the ramp, we had a loose soil. So we made earthing about, I think, 15, 16, 18, 20 earthings we made in that area. So we said when the electrical inspector will come, we will show them, look, these are our earthing, but internally they are all interconnected. So
Okay.
when he took a reading, it was fantastic reading. Fantastic reading. So he said, okay, go ahead. He didn't see our grade, but he saw earthing.
Finally,
So
one
challenge,
location, one earthing is the mantra.
yes, that is the mantra. But as far as he is concerned, he said this is what he needs. I'll give you another example. This is just last month, in the month of February 2022, Hyderabad. So we got one very big letter from the chief electrical inspector saying that you have to do this earthing, and the earthing size has to be minimum 100 by 16 for 2500 kVA transformer, 100 into 16 mm GI. Balance, excepting the transformer, it should be 100 into 10 mm GI, and number of independent earthing. Fortunately, what happened was I got the photographs through a friend. These photographs were displayed in the office of the Chief Electrical Inspector Telangana. So we took those photographs in the display or at the entrance of the building. And in my reply, I attached those photos. I said, this is what you are telling everybody to follow, since it is displayed in the office of the Chief Electrical Inspector. But what you are saying is total contrary. He got further annoyed. He says,
Okay.
don't teach me.
Then how did you
And
manage?
it is still going on, but it'll work out. But the
Coming
point
back to
on,
lighter
yeah,
side to change the mood.
yeah.
Now coming back to your personal life, how do you contribute to the society? And I want to know a brief about your family and how do you manage your time in a, and what is your future plan about the good experience? Are you not planning to pen down all your experience in the shape of book?
Yes, I will. I'll reply you that. As far as my personal life is concerned, I have one wife, two children, one daughter, one son. My son is in the same office as mine,
Okay.
and my daughter is stays in Pune. Now she has gone to US,
Okay.
and she already has taken 2 or 3 patents on her name on
Wow.
behalf of the company.
Congratulations.
So she has gone to US recently. Uh, So anyway, that is one part of the story. So as far as my time is concerned, morning I leave for the office around 9:30, 9:35, 9:40 is my time of leaving. So till that time I go for a walk. in the morning, and after work we just sit down, have a cup of tea, discuss daily
Hmm.
daily issues of the family, and then I go for the office. Once I reach the office, there is hardly any communication between me and my house.
You forget
Virtually no
your family
communication.
the moment you reach office.
The moment I reach office, unless they will call me that they
Hmm.
need this, I will send somebody from the
This is
office,
called
get
a
that. That is
dedication.
it.
That's why you are legend.
So my moment I reach office, I don't know what is happening in the house. That is number one. Number two, I normally try to see that whatever projects are going on, at least till the design stage, I am totally involved. At least everything goes through me.
Oh,
Detailing other thing, I have got few engineers working for us, so they are pretty good. They are pretty experienced now, and they all know my nature of working. That unless everything is put properly, detailed, it will not go to the client.
but finally that
So
must go through your table before final approval.
correct, correct. So that is one. Then evening I come back. I have no time of coming back. I'm sorry to say that,
Hmm.
because if I'm with the client, then I never say that I'm going home. It is 7:38. Okay, when the work is over, I just leave the office. So I reach approximately, if I'm not having a site meeting or site visit or outside Delhi, then I generally reach around 8, 8:15. That is my normal time of reaching home. My office is only 25 minutes from the home.
Hmm.
So I leave office around 7:30, 7:35, 7:45, reach around 8:15. Then being a diabetic, I have to follow certain
Okay.
medication. After that, I take my dinner in 30. I have to take my dinner within 30 minutes of my medication. That is a limitation.
Mhm.
So
I
I
know.
take my dinner, and then after that, either mainly it is watching TV or I'm talking on the phone.
With
Either
clients
some
again.
client has called me, some client has called me trying to discuss some issues,
Hmm.
or somebody from the site has called me, sir, the ye problem hai.
You schedule some meetings for the next day to come.
Yeah, something like that. And maybe second day I will organize ki I have to meet so and so, so and so, so and so. Many times I would come to the house and pen down, yeah, tomorrow what are the critical activities that have
Uh,
to go from the
Last
office.
but not the least, very important question, and I want you to give some invaluable advice for the youth engineers in India, and the rule of success and success mantra from your side, because that is
Yeah,
going to help.
okay. You see, I will convey this mainly from my point of view.
Yes, yes.
Whatever I have been through in my lifetime, fortunately, I have not seen I'm very lucky. We have right from the family to myself when I became independent. Things have been very steady, either in during my study days or during the working hours. It has been a very good platform I have got in my career. So I'm very lucky in that. The message which I will give to each and every engineer, the first message which I will give to every engineer is they should never try to become managers. They should remain engineers at least first phase of their career. What I mean by
Wow.
first phase of their career is 7 to 8 years. They should remain engineers. Now what happens is they are employed in a company, for example, PMC company, multinational. So first day what they are taught, how to make a report, how to ensure that this thing is implemented, and they have to get the work done from the consultant and from the contractor. Fine. I'm not saying do not do your job, but do not leave your engineering skill. Do not leave whatever you have studied. Try to implement that as much as you can, and never take shortcuts in the beginning of your lifetime. First thing is dedication. There is no substitute to dedication. There is no substitute to hard work. Absolutely no substitute. Never do shortcuts. We also take shortcut, but it is very challenging circumstances. And once in a while, not it is not my routine habit to do shortcut every now and then. Shortcut we do it in a very exclusive cases. So this is one thing. And second thing is what I would say is whatever they do, they should try to think why it is done this way. Why not this way? it is done this way. Maybe it is bad, maybe it is good also. Maybe I face certain issues in somewhere. To resolve those issues, I have modified it and made it like this. It may not be applicable in some other case. So this, when you ask questions, when you read something yourself and ask questions, then all these doubts become more clear to you. So it means what? You have to go through the whatever you do. It is not that you just pass it. You understand that very well. You try to apply your mind in such a way that why this, why not this? Then please do not become manager on day one.
Wow, wow.
Never become manager on day one. You will become manager one day. I know, maybe 5 years, 8 years,
Ultimately, you
10
are
years.
going to, but you have to learn. You have to learn your skill before you go to a higher position.
To the
And
higher
with
position of
with
life.
all these words, I would like to say thank you, sir. And I
No,
bow
not at
my
all.
head down before the
Not at all,
legend
Rajesh.
NK
You
Mittal,
are
sir.
a
Thank you
you are a
once again
inspiration
for
to us.
accepting my
You are
invitation and to be the
inspiration.
part of this ship. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, yeah. Rajesh, one thing, you are an inspiration to all of us. The lead you have taken in safety measures, igniting power engineers in another groups, I appreciate it so much. I'm appreciating in front of you. I appreciate it at your back, at
Thank you, sir.
whatever
Thank you very
place
much.
I go and whatever place we discuss these things. So I share it with them.
Thank you once
So
again.
even if you do not know many of my clients, but they know you by name.
Thank you once again, sir. Thank you. Thank you once again. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.